Capricorn. A silent threat is about to reveal itself. Number 5 will surprise you. Capricorn, something is coming. Something you haven't seen yet. A silent threat that's been lurking in the shadows of your life, waiting for the perfect moment to surface. You've built your empire brick by brick. You've climbed every mountain. You've sacrificed, worked harder than anyone else, and maintained that unshakable composure that everyone admires. But what if I told you that the very foundation you've built your life upon is about to be tested in ways you never imagined? This isn't about external enemies or obvious obstacles. This is about something far more insidious, something that's been growing quietly beneath the surface while you were busy being the responsible one, the reliable one, the one who always has it together. In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 silent threats that are targeting Capricorn right now. Hidden dangers that most astrologers won't talk about. Warning signs you've been ignoring because you're too focused on your goals to notice. And when we get to number 5, you're going to realize why you've been feeling that strange unease lately, that voice in your head telling you something isn't quite right. Are you ready to face what's been hiding in plain sight? Ready to understand why that voice keeps getting louder? Because these aren't just predictions, Capricorn. These are truths that are already unfolding in your life right now. The walls you've built to protect yourself might actually be trapping you. The control you've fought so hard to maintain might be slipping through your fingers. And the success you've achieved might come with a price you never agreed to pay. Number 5 will especially surprise you because it reveals the one threat you never saw coming. The one danger that even your legendary intuition missed. The silent enemy that knows exactly how to bypass all your defenses. Stay with me until the end, because understanding these threats is the first step to protecting yourself. And trust me, Capricorn, you're going to want to know what's coming before it arrives. Let's unveil the silent threat that's been waiting for you. If you're ready to face the truth that's been hiding in plain sight, hit that subscribe button and leave a like right now. Because what I'm about to reveal might be uncomfortable, but Capricorn, you've never been afraid of uncomfortable truths. Let's begin. Imagine spending decades constructing a fortress. Stone by stone, wall by wall, until you've created something impenetrable. Something that keeps you safe from betrayal, disappointment, and the chaos of human emotion. That's what you've done, Capricorn. You've built walls so high that nothing can hurt you anymore. But here's the silent threat. Those walls aren't just keeping pain out. They're keeping life out. You've become so good at protecting yourself that you've forgotten how to let anyone in. And now, in the quiet moments when you're alone with your success, you're starting to realize something terrifying. You've isolated yourself so completely that even you can't find your way back to your own heart. Think about it. When was the last time you let yourself be truly vulnerable? When was the last time you cried in front of someone, asked for help without feeling weak, or admitted that you don't have all the answers? You can't remember, can you? Because vulnerability feels like failure to you. It feels like weakness. And Capricorn doesn't do weak. But here's what nobody tells you about walls. They don't just keep others out. They trap you inside. Every time someone tries to get close, you add another brick. Every time you feel something real, something raw, you seal it behind stone. You tell yourself it's protection, but it's suffocation. The silent threat isn't that your walls will be broken down by force. It's that they'll stand forever, and you'll grow old inside them, alone, wondering why success tastes so bitter, why achievement feels so hollow, why you can climb every mountain but can't seem to reach the one person who matters most, yourself. And the cruelest part? People admire your walls. They see your strength, your discipline, your ability to remain unmoved while the world burns. They don't see the person inside, screaming to be let out. They don't see you practicing emotions in the mirror because you've forgotten how to feel them naturally. They don't see the nights you lie awake, wondering if anyone would stay if you stop being useful. This is the first threat. Your walls are collapsing inward, not outward. And when they finally fall, you won't know how to exist without them. You're the one everyone calls when life falls apart. The one who fixes problems, carries burdens, and never complains. You're the rock, Capricorn. Solid, unmovable, reliable. But here's what they don't see: rocks erode. And you've been eroding for years. Picture a mountain standing alone against endless storms. Year after year, wind and rain carve into its surface. Slowly, imperceptibly, it wears away. No one notices because mountains are supposed to be eternal. But one day, the mountain realizes, I'm not as strong as I used to be. And there's no one here to hold me up. That's you, Capricorn. You've been holding up everyone else for so long that you've forgotten how to ask for support. And now the silent threat is this: you're about to crack under the weight of being everyone's foundation. How many times have you swallowed your own pain to solve someone else's problem? How many times have you postponed your breakdown because someone needed you to be strong? How many times have you sacrificed your own peace to maintain everyone else's? The answer is too many to count. Because you've made yourself indispensable. You've become the person people depend on when everything else fails. And that feels good, doesn't it? Being needed. Being essential. Being the one who never breaks. But here's the devastating truth. They don't love you for who you are. They love you for what you do. And deep down, you know the difference. You know that if you stop being useful, stop solving problems, stop carrying weight, they'd move on to the next strong person. This is why you can't stop. This is why you work yourself into exhaustion. This is why you take on more than any human should carry. Because if you're not the rock, who are you? The silent threat is that you're going to burn out. Not in some dramatic, obvious way, but slowly, quietly, until one morning you wake up and realize you don't recognize yourself anymore. You've become a function, not a person. A tool, not a soul. And when you finally ask for help, when you finally say, I can't do this anymore, you'll be met with shock, with disappointment, with the realization that people never saw you as human. They saw you as invincible. And invincible things aren't allowed to break. Capricorn, you've set the bar so high that even you can't reach it anymore. And that's the silent threat that's destroying you from the inside. Your own impossible standards. Imagine running a race where the finish line moves every time you get close. You push harder, run faster, sacrifice more. But no matter how much you achieve, it's never enough. Because the moment you succeed, you raise the bar again. Success isn't celebration. It's just the new baseline. This is your prison, Capricorn. You've locked yourself in a cage built from perfectionism, discipline, and the belief that you're only worthy if you're achieving. And the key? You threw it away years ago because rest felt like regression. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were proud of yourself? Not for a second, not for a fleeting moment, but truly deeply proud? When was the last time you looked at your life and thought, this is enough? I am enough? You can't answer that, can you? Because there's always more to do. Always another goal. Always another mountain. You've convinced yourself that happiness lives on the other side of the next achievement. But every time you get there, the goalpost has moved. The silent threat is this: you're going to spend your entire life chasing a version of success that doesn't exist. You're going to sacrifice your present for a future that never arrives. You're going to miss the life you're living because you're too busy preparing for the life you think you should have. And here's the part that breaks my heart. You're doing this to yourself. Nobody is forcing you to be perfect. Nobody is demanding that you never rest. You've internalized this prison so deeply that even when people tell you to slow down, you can't. Because slowing down feels like failure. But what if the real failure is missing your own life? What if the real tragedy is reaching the top of the mountain and realizing you forgot to enjoy the climb? What if you're so focused on becoming worthy that you never noticed you already were? Before we move to threat number 4, I need to pause and ask you something. Capricorn, have you felt this? This exhaustion from your own standards? This pressure to always be perfect, always be achieving, always be more? Drop a comment below and tell me, what would happen if you gave yourself permission to be human? What would it feel like to rest without guilt? Let's create a space where Capricorns can admit they're tired. Where being enough doesn't require being perfect. Share your story below. You're not alone in this. Now, let's continue to number 4. And this one might hurt the most. Here's the silent threat that keeps you awake at 3 a.m. What if everything you've built means nothing? What if all the sacrifice, all the discipline, all the years of grinding were for a destination that doesn't fulfill you? Imagine climbing a mountain for 20 years. Every day, you push forward. You ignore the pain. You sacrifice relationships, health, joy, all for the promise of the view from the top. And then you reach the summit. You stand there, breathless, victorious. And you look around and think, is this it? That's the nightmare Capricorn lives with. Not that they'll fail, but that they'll succeed and discover success is empty. You've done everything right. You've followed the rules. You've worked harder than anyone else. You've achieved things most people only dream of. But in the quiet moments, when the applause fades and you're alone with your thoughts, you feel it, a hollow ache. A whisper that says, there has to be more than this. This is the silent threat that's revealing itself now. You've been so focused on the destination that you forgot to ask if it's where you actually want to go. You've climbed the ladder so diligently that you never stop to check if it's leaning against the right wall. And now you're faced with a terrifying question. What if I've wasted my life chasing the wrong things? What if the career you built doesn't fulfill you? What if the status you achieved doesn't make you happy? What if the respect you earned feels meaningless because you lost yourself earning it? Capricorn, you've been told your whole life that success equals happiness. That hard work equals fulfillment. That reaching the top means you've made it. But you're starting to realize that's a lie. Because you've reached the top and you still feel empty. The silent threat isn't failure. It's succeeding at the wrong game. It's winning a prize you didn't actually want. It's spending decades building a life that looks perfect from the outside, but feels hollow from the inside. And the most painful part? You can't tell anyone. Because how do you explain to people who admire your success that it means nothing to you? How do you admit that you'd trade it all for something real, something meaningful, something that makes you feel alive? So you stay silent. You keep climbing. You keep achieving. Because at least the motion distracts you from the emptiness. But Capricorn, the threat is growing. And eventually, you'll have to face it. All the success in the world can't fill the void where your authentic self used to be. And now we arrive at the silent threat that will surprise you most. Not because it's hidden, but because it's been in front of you the entire time, and you've been too busy to notice. Capricorn, you've forgotten how to live. Not survive. Not achieve. Not succeed. You're excellent at those things. But live? Actually live? When was the last time you did something for pure joy? When was the last time you laughed without checking your watch? When was the last time you let yourself be present, fully present, without thinking about the next task on your list? Imagine a machine built to climb mountains. It's efficient, powerful, unstoppable. But it's also just a machine. It doesn't feel the sun on its face. It doesn't notice the flowers growing between the rocks. It doesn't experience the journey. It only calculates the distance to the summit. That's what you've become, Capricorn. A beautifully efficient machine. But machines don't live. They operate. This is the silent threat that's been revealing itself. You've optimized your life so completely that you've optimized out the living. You've scheduled every moment, planned every move, controlled every variable. And in doing so, you've eliminated spontaneity, joy, and the beautiful, messy unpredictability of being human. When was the last time you did something without a purpose? When was the last time you wasted an afternoon doing absolutely nothing? When was the last time you let yourself be silly, imperfect, gloriously unproductive? You can't remember. Because every moment has to serve a goal. Every action has to contribute to the plan. You've turned your life into a project, and yourself into a project manager. But life isn't a project. It's an experience. And you're missing it. The most surprising part of this threat? You don't even realize what you've lost until someone points it out. Until someone asks you what you do for fun, and you genuinely can't answer. Until someone invites you to be spontaneous, and you panic because it's not on your calendar. Until someone tells you to just relax, and you realize you don't know how anymore. Capricorn, You've been so focused on building a life worth living that you forgot to actually live it. You've been so busy preparing for the future that you've sacrificed your present. You've been so determined to earn your worth that you missed the point. You were always worthy. You just needed to be. This is the revelation. The silent threat isn't something external. It's not coming for you. It's already here. It's been here for years. The threat is that you're going to reach the end of your life with a perfect resume and an empty heart, with a mountain of achievements and a soul that never got a dance. So here we stand, Capricorn, at the edge of truth. 5 silent threats that have been circling your life like wolves in the dark. The walls you built for protection have become your prison. The strength everyone depends on is crushing you. The standards you set to prove your worth have become impossible to reach. The success you chased has revealed itself as hollow. And the life you've been building has replaced the living you forgot to do. This is the paradox of Capricorn. You're the most successful people anyone knows, yet you feel like failures. You're the strongest people in the room, yet you're breaking inside. You're the most disciplined, most responsible, most reliable, but you're suffocating under the weight of being everything for everyone except yourself. And the cruelest irony? You do it all with a straight face. You carry these threats like stones in your pockets, getting heavier with each step, but you never set them down. Because setting them down would mean admitting they exist. And admitting they exist would mean admitting you're not invincible. But Capricorn, you were never supposed to be invincible. You were supposed to be human. And being human means having limits. It means needing rest. It means asking for help. It means being imperfect and worthy at the same time. What if the real threat isn't the collapse of your walls, but living behind them forever? What if the real danger isn't being seen as weak, but never being seen at all? What if the real tragedy isn't failing, but succeeding at everything except happiness? You've spent your life preparing for external threats, but these threats are internal. They're the parts of yourself you've been ignoring, suppressing, sacrificing in the name of achievement. And they're not going away. They're getting louder. Capricorn, you are not just what you achieve. You are not just what you build. You are not just the mountain. You are also the person climbing it. And that person is tired. That person is lonely. That person deserves to rest without guilt, to feel without fear, to live without constantly proving their worth. The silent threats are revealing themselves not to destroy you, but to wake you up, to remind you that there's more to life than climbing, that there's more to success than sacrifice, that there's more to you than the armor you wear. So let me ask you this, Capricorn, what are you going to do with this revelation? Now that you've seen the silent threats for what they are, now that you've recognized the patterns you've been living, what comes next? Are you going to keep climbing until you collapse? Or are you going to stop, breathe, and remember what you're climbing for? Are you going to keep building walls? Or are you going to let someone in, even if it scares you? Are you going to keep chasing success? Or are you going to define what success actually means to you? The choice is yours. It's always been yours. But you've been so busy fulfilling everyone else's expectations that you forgot you get to choose. Here's what I want you to know. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to want something different than what you've been chasing. You are allowed to be imperfect, uncertain, and human. Your worth isn't tied to your productivity. Your value isn't measured by your achievements. You matter simply because you exist. And to everyone watching who loves a Capricorn, see them. Really see them. Ask them how they're doing and wait for the real answer. Don't just admire their strength. Hold space for their exhaustion. Remind them that they don't have to earn your love through usefulness. They already have it just by being. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 silent threats hit you the hardest? Have you been feeling this pressure, this exhaustion, this emptiness behind the success? And Capricorn, here's my question for you. If you could let go of one burden today, what would it be? What's the one thing you've been carrying that you're finally ready to set down? Share your truth in the comments. Let's create a space where Capricorns can finally admit they're human. where strength includes vulnerability, where success includes rest. If this video resonated with you, share it with a Capricorn who needs to hear it. Because sometimes the bravest thing we can do is admit we're tired of being brave. Thank you for being here. Thank you for facing these truths. And remember, the mountain will still be there tomorrow. But today, you deserve to rest at base camp and remember why you started climbing in the first place. I'll see you in the next video.